Thank you, everyone, for coming. Welcome to Geobunga and our workshop today about using plants and Christmas decor. We know this is a busy time of year for everyone, so thank you so much for taking time to come see us. And hopefully this will be inspiring for your Christmas this year. My name is Keola, Dietrich, and Geobunga has been in business for 13 years, and we specialize in any type of garden decor and accents. You're welcome to walk through the showroom. We are open today, and this is our first workshop post-COVID, so we're super excited to be able to do this again.
Hey, I'm watching YouTube.
This is Keola. He worked for Geobunga for a long time, and now he works at our other business in Guatemala called Native Farms, which is a 13-acre plant nursery. And we've known you for over a decade. You know how long. He's super talented, really creative.
Stop it, you're gonna make me have to work hard.
So yes, thank you.
I found him on the streets, you don't know anything. So good morning everybody, my name is Keola again. Today, I wanted to create some container gardens for you. I, local boy, grew up here. I don't know if your experience is different, but you know, it was always tight. We always like to decor with things we have and try to make things work. My parents, we always ate, it wasn't starving or anything, but you know, we always tried to make sure we did the best of what we have and consolidate. So in that spirit, I like to take things that I have and then incorporate them in my container gardens for the season. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term bougie, but I'm slightly bougie, poor and bougie. So my house has like really nice accents. I purge a lot, which I encourage everybody to do. But today I really like the succulents we have at our farm. I literally live on the farm, kind of late to work. And Guatemala, which is great. I was almost stuck because of the Christmas parade, but thank God I got there. So today I wanted to do a couple of little bit different succulent gardens. I do like the overfilled stuff succulent gardens. I like them because you can hardly kill them. If you kill succulents, oh bro, plastic plants, please. Probably the lowest you can go. I mean, if you kill them before, I'm sorry. But like, I'm gonna hopefully give you some tools to plant your plants, have them live. And again, have a light heart. If it costs less than a latte, just take away and get it off. So, I'm going to start with a simple nickel. This is something you can use. I like using things that you can have around the house. I've created stuff out of a lot of stuff that you see here is old. Like, you know, like this guy is not exactly like most one. But I'll use it a little bit later for some. When I make any kind of container garden, there's a couple of different components that I'm just going to jump into. Rubbish. So, for our container garden, we'll go over some of the fundamentals of plant making. For this plant, you want to make sure there's always the drainage. This is just a standard thing. Unfortunately, I work with a great myriad of plants, from tropicals, annuals, whatever. But I grew up, we equate love with watering. Most times killing your plants with too much water. And succulents is one of those things you just, every time you pass them, you can miss, but please don't go to succulent every day and go, why? You're killing it. You're drowning your animals. So you want to make sure that you allow for them to have enough drainage that they can live. Now, a good, easy rule is you can soak it completely, because plants do love the water, but they have to be completely dry in between water. They kind of have a time where it's wet all the time. I'm in the Keola and that's one of the biggest, if you get orchids, it's one of the highest numbers of plants to grow because of the detail and the time you have to put in it. But you really want to make sure, if you love watering, it's fine, but make sure you water it completely and she dries completely. You can always tell when you fill the pot if she's a little light. That's a good way to gauge. When we're going through the nursery, checking to see if plants are ready for or have enough water, you can literally feel by the weight. Because I was blind and walk through and go, okay, that's enough. That's good. So you just make sure that you're observing that when you're making any planting whatsoever. Succulents, you can miss them, it's fine. Sometimes, I literally live on the farm, I do flower plants, but my plants mock it too. So with succulents, you can leave them for days. I mean, don't go Vegas for a week and expect them to live, but you know, they're a little more tolerant than most of the plants you'll do. So, that being said, what I normally do is with any container garden to build drama and for a focal piece, you want basically a couple components in there. You want something of height. We used to call it the thriller, the filler, and the spiller. Something that's tall, that draws the eye, maybe a color, a focal piece or a larger plant. Something that fills the space. It gives a sense of like abundance and then it's rich. And if you can, something that cascades a little bit because it gives it a lot more dimension in a small space. So I'll demonstrate that right now. This guy's cute as well, just at a small like whatever store. And it's a good thing for the holidays. Now you don't have to be stuck with it. I like making container gardens for the season. So Thanksgiving over, you do your stuff, throw the stuff out, make it up. Or you can feel extra nice, wait 1 week before giving to your friend and you said, I made this just for you. You know, then it seems nice on your part and you still get all the kudos. So where's my speaker? I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna put some stuff in here. I have soil under here, so the illusion that I'm gonna get my tablecloth dirty. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just filling the soil up to a certain point. So I'm gonna use this because it doesn't necessarily have to be a plant to have a focal piece for accent pieces. So this guy has a nice red color. She's rich and thick. So what I'm gonna do is turn this into a container garden. This was really easy. Because in a sweatshop, I could have kids making this by the dozens. So you just want to get your soil to the point where it is high enough that you can work around it. Like, now, most succulents don't require that deep of a. They don't have a really deep root system. You can set this anywhere you want. I'm gonna assume I can see. This one will be a little 360. Now, I used to be a florist as well, so you have to really decide what the view is going to be when you place an object. So, for example, if it was something you don't place against the wall, it's not necessary to walk around and see the whole thing. Since this is one that has, this side not so exciting. So, I'm going to push this to the back so that I have more space for the plantings. So you really have to think about where it's going to go so that you can plot your accent. That's pretty good. And then I'll just put soil. You could also secure it a little. Once the plants go in, it'll kind of judge each other to the back so it's not going to go anywhere. Everybody came on Sunday watching the so anyway, alrighty. Now most succulents, it really depends on the plants. When I was a florist, my mentor used to say because I used to always ask what plants do I put in there? What color should I use? And she'd go somebody go buy them, just throw anything in there. And no offense, I'm part Filipino, I can say something, the Filipinos can buy that one. There's no way, make the colors all any kind, they love it. So what I'll do is I'll just select a couple of different succulents. We need areas of the pot, it's really nice to have. And diversity is great. This guy. I normally find when you're doing. Okay.
Having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He doesn't have a mic.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, you can go closer.
Yeah, I'm usually a loud little person, so I'm surprised. But yeah, I'll try and project a little longer. Like a little chihuahua. Okay, so I know I'm facing the wrong one, I'm saying. So, when I do accent pieces, in order to have agreeable symmetry, you have to have multiples in the same space. So like when you're doing a flower arrangement, you never see like one rose here, the marigolds or whatever on one side. You want to have equal sets. So as such, it doesn't have to be, you just have to have the presence of more than one. Otherwise it looks too sporadic. So I usually try to choose pairs when I'm doing the pieces, and it depends on the size of the piece. So later I'm going to do one in this guy, and it has more space so I can have more diversity and more sets. Now this tiny one, you can do whatever, but so I'm trying not to obstruct that too much, but I also want to have enough green in there. So I'm putting these. Everybody got a full waist, this is like it. Alright, so thank God I got this straight. Okay. So these really help. Having my Martha Stewart moment here. The planting part, not the embarrassing Jill part. So, now with succulents, they do have a shallow root system, you can see here. If you see your root systems, it's the only way to really check a plant. If they're opaque or like soppy looking or brown, they're really unhealthy, that's a clear sign that it's overwatered. If they tend to be white when they're dry, they're really nice and healthy. So a lot of times when we're assessing a plant, you really can't tell from the body, you really have to pull and see the roots. So a lot of these you'll see right away. If you see that the roots is no good, probably don't plant them. They need to dry out completely and move again. So I'm gonna start setting these. Now it's really easy, there's no difficult way. You really don't want to mess with the roots too much. The roots directly are connected to the immunity of a plant. And it's the way that they drink water, the way they survive. And if you mess with them too much, you can really stunt them, or they have this period where they're going, like they just went through a surgery, you like them recover. So you just want to make sure that they're treated really well. So I'm going to put this guy. There's not a lot of space here, less than I thought. So I'm going to put, I need a shorty. See, this guy's pretty dry, but she'll recover. Now, you can really, I was a florist, so I like to have it full from the very start. I don't, at this day and age, I don't want to wait I want instant satisfaction. So I'm sure we all do. So I want to make sure that it looks like it was grown into naturally. Now, when you're planting anything, or even when you're flower arranging with plants, you'll notice that plants have a specific direction where they're reaching for the light. Now, it's something that a lot of people don't really see, and that's where the detail comes into a lot of arranging and placement. So if you see, like this plant, for example, the heads face a certain way, you really kind of want to make it so that all of the heads are facing the direction of the same kind of light. They'll adjust it sometime, but the illusion will be that they appeared that way from the start. So I try to face the heads so that they look like they might have been facing the same way at the same time. You never see on flower arranging, wonky with a rose is going this way and that. It looks like not professional. So you really want to try and keep that in mind when you're creating these. This one's pretty cool. I wish I knew all the names, but I literally live with, oh my gosh. So that's what like I totally did that on purpose. So yeah, just as an example. Usually, so to that, you should massage the paws a little bit. Don't rip them out of the thing. See how clever I am? So yeah, but don't do that. She wouldn't survive, trust me. She'll be alright. So, don't worry. Again, if she's cheap, you can rip them out, get them out. Not gonna be that much. Normally you want some color contrast, but the textural contrast is fine. The more textures you can add to even a small container garden, the more dynamic it'll look. Even from a distance, a lot of times when you do any kind of arrangement, a lot of times you'll come into a situation where you're just trying to fit things. The more you can stuff into one space, the better. And you're really trying to do a cascading effect. So from the view where you're coming in, it should be tallest, short, short, short. Something. So that everyone can be appreciated all the way to the back. So let's see. I wish this guy was taller. Oh, no. Like I said, no wrong, just practice. And everybody's opinion is fine and valid, so let nobody tell you what looks nice. Even though obviously something. So, now as far as the height, you can manipulate the plant a little bit where it doesn't have to be completely sunken in. A lot of times you can adjust after you set them. You gotta really be careful with these. The good thing about succulents too is they're easy to propagate. So like everybody's had like a jade plant, you pull off one leaf, throw them in the ground. Eventually there's a little root on it. I mean, not good for sales, but you can make money from just one if you are interested in that kind of thing. I have another photo of this guy. Oh! I get too many objects to play. Yes, please.
Is there not too crowded in there?
No, actually, there's a couple ways to do it. If you're an enthusiast, if your perception or your want is to see it grow, then absolutely you want to allow for a little bit of space. As a decoration piece, I want it to be abundant and full. I always think of that Thanksgiving cornucopia that spills over, because it's just for the time. Now, I often give gifts like this, and we go, oh my god, it's not going to last forever, because you can crowded. And normally when there's a crowded container garden, the strongest good survivor, the most durable of the plants, is going to take over and the rest can go away. So often you give these things an intention, like I give some to my mom, she enjoys it, looks like a flower arrangement, and then she rips the thing apart and makes trick 4 of them. Because they'll eventually, these guys have the potential to turn to like this guy. This guy is the same guy as this guy. So like, you know, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, but you just have, if you're interested in that kind of thing, each one of these has the potential to be like its own entity. But they only can grow, like, they grow to the size of their container. So if I was to leave this in here, it will only get so big that it's going to be nutrient deficient. It needs to be up-potted really. So this is intended just to be a deco piece, but not for those enthusiasts who want to, you know, like I do in some plants, like to see them grow in the process and have their pride to go, oh, I'll do that. But for this, I just like a little piece. For that kind of, not as kind of, I'm very intensive. This leaf is damaged. Just the one time in life, you're ugly, you're gone. And so, if you did that in regular life, oh no, you're a terrible person. Okay, it's like a balancing act right now. I'm looking for that. Oh, see, not enough fun. I can say that I'm a lifetime crafter. Having a process really helps. As far as that, I mean, like having all the tools right away. A lot of us have done, sorry if I'm getting dirty with this. I'm trying to, City and county working and stuff like that. Having that Gallagher moment for you guys. Like this. So, come on, yeah, talk to me. Then you can move them as you plant. Okay. Now you see how the heads are turning like it's facing outwards, and then eventually I can shush them this way. So I'll pick the other guy. Again, sorry about the dirt. Oh, good. You like what's so far? Oh, good job, Sam. And then in this portion, again, this is for looks. You have no idea how much plants I just chop away for like the forest. I consider this to be an extension of that because it's for the look really. They will be healthy, and this setup that I'll make can literally last like months if well cared for and it has enough of the come on, come on, come on, baby. And then I like this side. Oh well, you can fit both of those. Now you can see that it's getting very full. Come on, oh good. She'll stay there. This one's very funny. This one's called the chocolate soldier, I think. I don't know if that's the real name, but that's what I used to call it. She's a soft bunny ear looking kind of. It has a really nice textural difference, and I referred to that before. I like separating them so that you can use them in a couple of different ways. But because of the soft petals, as opposed to some of these more rigid ones, they tend to look very rich. And I like putting at least one or two key things in there that are different, because it does make it more unique. If I can possibly fit that down, yeah. I don't know, she myself up. Where is it? Yeah. You know what? I'll do this side. Again, I'm rushing, so I'm not massaging it. Oh! Well, thank you, universe. That looks so much better. Okay, so this guy is very nice. This one has a similar texture. This is the part you can't really manhandle or rush this part, but you only have to do it once. Now, over time, when you put it in the sun, it'll climatize for the ants. I'm using some of these to hold up the other ones, so that the direction stays sun. Now, normally you do want to soak these in after you're done. So, because immediately they're going to look for water. I try not to get them. Now, and then you also have the opportunity after that to put in other things. I try not to do over the top too much with that kind of stuff. So I have tons of little different accents. You can put them in, you don't have to. Sometimes I'll put them in. It is Christmas. I like the neutral tones on them because they're not ostentatious. And if you do too much of the red, it tends to take away from the focal piece. Because all of this is just to support the red. So that you obviously see this, but it's in their cloud of this succulent and it's so full that it's something that's very, very good. So I don't know if I can put this in. Maybe one. I take that back. Sometimes a little red. You never know until you do something. Often I have a plan in my mind. And again, you'll see that there's sets of things. So there is some agreeable symmetry. Come on, Angel's Gate. Let's go. Ooh. I'm trying not to poke him through. He's got no friends that talk to him. Okay. Oh, good. We have to work together. So you'll see that. So for our focal piece, there you go. I can't really see it. So this guy was very easy to do. You saw me doing it really quickly, and while I was still talking, and it's very rich, very full. And then you can just leave this in a. These are greenhouse grown, so these guys will stay in I think it's what 50% shade cloth, I think so. It's in the lower light. It can transition to more light. If you're working with plants, as a general rule, you can go from lighter to darker light, and she would survive. If you go from a greenhouse to bright, she might burn and you could lose them. Even with succulents. So often we'll take them for the greenhouse, and for example, Kapolei Home Depot, their succulents are in full sun. So I know that some of these varieties will not transition well. So it's okay if you want to bring some of these plants from the full sun inside, but be very careful and transition them slowly if you're going to a lot of light right away. Okay. Now the main thing with that though is going to be hard is succulent, so you don't have to soak the pillow. I'm calling it a pillow for lack of a better term. But it's in a very plain pot. You can see that it's very rich inside. I forgot to put in the cascade or whatever on the next one. Okay, so this one. So that's a simple one that you're just doing an accent piece. As a florist, or an ex-florist, I keep calling myself a florist, that was like 20 years ago. So, as an ex-florist, I like to use large pieces for dramatic effect. Where's that book? Oh. Now this guy. Now, sometimes for Christmas, I like to use larger scenes. So I'm thinking one of these guys. So, I'm going to use this guy. Large dramatic succulent gardens are really nice and they last. And you can actually pull out like that one later. You can pull out the pieces and stuff something in the back, and she'll still survive. But it still loses something when you take out the focal piece. Because right now it looks very rich with the accented red, but without them they're kind of not as full as you'd like. To have the larger pieces that draws the eye first, it invites you to go closer to look at the details. So it makes a difference. It's the hook, how to get you inside. So I wish I had a bigger scooper because you know what? They have Buddha provide. I have a massage on this, but I'm not. Oh, there you go. So, and I just use this guy for something. So I'll figure it out. So, I'm not sure how many of you guys are crafters. So most local people are simply by the virtue of, look, I know my money, I like to make them do this. I have rooms full of stuff, so let me try this one. I like to incorporate some of this one I'm going to use live plants with a vase to do a small flower arrangement to appear as if it's part of the succulent garden. I actually like using some of these. I'm addicted to holiday holly. You get these watanabes, they last forever. You can spray them down, they're very cute and they're very Christmassy. Nowadays, I always like a Christmas tree and there's no replacing it. I do a Charlie Brown Christmas tree that's only one bulb, really my speed. But yes, they sell this at Watanabes. They bring in fresh holly every year. It's like, I think like $10-12 per bunch. You can put it in a vase just by itself, it looks great. But then I spray painted some. If you thought this was silver sword, but we got it, it's not. I spray painted it. Nothing special. I literally just, for your benefit, I never like make you guys with spray. So, it's really nice. So it's a sprayed tropical. It's part of the Protea family. But they're very, very rich, and I'm going to do a small flower arrangement here with a couple components. I was doing my Christmas tree stuff, but they also sell these bunches of different types. Very nice to do, very easy. You can probably spend $10, $12, make a couple of them, and put them around the house. Don't have to smell, unfortunately. There's air fresheners and chances to create that. So, I'm going to create 2 spaces. Now, in order to do that, they do have to have water in that area. So the scene's going to be deer over here, foliage over here. And then succulents at the base. So that's the general plan. But as you do any kind of craft, you can assess as you go and go, oh, maybe not so good. Not all my plans is good, trust me. It's really not. So, but the fundamentals, you want to use neutral tones a lot. This one is very nice, but whenever you use some of the neutral tones, the things that have color really pop. It doesn't get lost. You can do a lot of color, but I find that they become over ostentatious and you kind of really don't know what you're looking at. So I like to have pieces that really show what you're trying to put out there. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I haven't done that yet. I got it. Hold on. You have one? Sorry.
Yes,
Really?
she wanted me to offer you
Thank
earlier.
you.
His hands are dirty.
I know, you know. Oh, I appreciate it. No. Alright, jump like that was not harder than you told. Thank you so much. Alright. Okay. I wonder if she's tall enough to do here. I don't like her fall out of, well, I'm assuming it's her. I don't like her fall out of there. Oh yeah, the dude. So, now, what's really good, I always like doing this because succulents in and of themselves don't have a lot of real height, more texture than you can get from those few pieces. Really easy, as the whole world smoke and mirrors. You just gotta try it, it really is. Smoke and mirrors, always look good. So I'm just gonna bury this to the height where it's not visually seen there, and fill it around with dirt. Now that's gonna be my vase so I can hold the plants, so that I can plug the Christmas plants in it. Very easy to do, really. And what's good is after the holidays are done, you can still use these pieces. Yank them out, put them in storage. Everybody get in a storage container. This guy is, trust me, she's not young. She's been around. I think she was initially so. Don't worry, we're still loving her. Plenty of years left. As I get older, the idea that you can still be used when you're old. Top of the line. I like to believe, you know, the wine vinegar analogy. Okay. So, I know the soil filling us. But these are really nice because I like doing the base that's neutral. So if you put them along in a house, a lot of your containers, you don't want to have, again, like everybody has their own opinion, but I kind of like to see the circus now, like yellow pot, green pot, but there should be some continuity within an individual space. So if I was using these in the same place, that's the only reason why I'm using these very plain, very light pots. We do sell this here. Well, by we, I mean, they do. I don't. I'm on my mom's little truck selling pots here. So, I got those guys in there. Now, okay, she's pretty set. Stand up. Okay, so now I have it set. So this one has excellent drainage already. We went over that. And we have it set up. So the goal will be I'll fill this with succulents, and then I can plug these inside of there. I have no idea how many of these, but it's a little bit too disco 2000. Alrighty, so where's Vanna at? Can you bring me like a, sorry, Vanna White, everyone. Just a smattering of different stuff over there will be fine. It doesn't matter what they are.
Different stuff.
Yay! I wish I could just shove this under there, but she's a little too big. This is a really nice one. Sometimes, to me, I was always under the impression when I did flowers that the plants choose the space, not you, because it depends on their texture, their size, their height, they kind of, in my mind, goes somewhere specific. It's not like I'm choosing, when people ask, oh, how do you know where to put it? Well, it kind of can only go one place. The tall one goes here, the medium size goes here, and the low one, and you're just working under that criteria. So there's really less creative than you think. I just kind of like, look, okay, I know this is high, it's going down here. And this is going to have kind of a bush here, so that I know I can do the shorter plants here, and some of the taller ones so that you don't see some of the, in disguise some of the details that's not so desirable. I can do some of the taller in the front. I'm not sure the plants will grow under her, whatever you call that, portfolio. Sorry, she is. Okay, yeah, come on, work with me. This is the ones I was hoping to put. So this one actually is hearts of flower, has a cascading effect. So eventually when they grow, they'll seep out the front. So when I'm done, I'll come to the front and look for spaces, and I'll plug them so that they have some texture, some cascading texture. These guys are also very distinct. Can I get more? Yeah, a couple more. But I ain't gonna lie, like my normal job's not as fun as this, so thank you so much. I get to stand in the shade. Okay. Alrighty, so we think, oh, really? See what happened when you prayed? I was like, oh my god. You know what? She might, she'll. For the sake of just this, I've been using them. But she might not make it. I know. What? Don't fight me. Come on, let's go. You can do it. So knowing the intention of where I'm plotting the whole thing, I kind of know exactly where they're going to go based on the heights. I will skew the look if I have too much succulent. Actually, we should have buried that further to the back. You know what? There's nothing wrong with going back and fixing things before you start. I was like, you know what? I just said earlier about the view. Nobody can be walking 360 around this. So it's probably better to shut this way to the back. That's the best thing of crafting. Creative problem solving is a really valuable thing. Okay, now it'll fit. If any of you are like me, you probably have knickknacks and stuff just sitting around the house. Anyway, I'm trying to wrap my mind around purging. It's not easy for most local people because, you know, I don't know why. I guess all our grandmas is like, oh, throw that away. The house started looking like Kilgo's. Showing my age. If you know what Kilgo's is, oh, you're old. You're old. You know what Kilgo's is? Oh. Our cause. Oh, right. You know. Yeah, I have my clothes from school or something. So, I do like the green. You know, to me, Hawaii is very green, so it's something that's really well. Flowering plants, I do try to stay away from. I like doing the arrangement part because you want the plants to come and grow together. And when you put extremely different plants together, you can't really have realistic expectations for them to all live together peacefully in the same place. The flowering plants can give up. These guys have different food requirements. So like you cannot put a bird in a fish tank and feed them dog food, you're not gonna live. You have to try and make sure they're all, you know, growing together in peace. So with that in mind, I try to keep them together where I can feed them. It is good to fertilize these when you can. However, if you do a granular on these kind of things, the granular fertilizers, always read their labels, but with granular fertilizers, they normally have polymers in them, so they take time to release. So you gotta either look for the quick release ones, or liquid is fine. You can spray them once in a while and they're good. A lot of stuff in our nursery, we do fertilizer already inside of the plant itself, in the soil, my bad. And you know, it allows for a better growing experience. Plants do need food, not just water. Yeah. A lot of people ask, you know, why is my plant dying? You give them water. Oh my God, it's starving. You gave me just water. I'd be mucky already. You really want to make sure it has more than that because it has mineral requirements, live organisms that you have to have in there. So just keep that in mind. You know, like we're all good stewards. We can keep our kids alive. So you know, you should be able to keep plants alive knowing what they need. So it needs more than water, definitely. Good compost is great, but it is excellent to make sure that you're feeding them on a regular basis. I just want the root balls so big. I wish I had more colorful succulents here, but it's going to make the, well, for lack of a better term, the holly look more dramatic. Come on, stay there. Whenever I make some of these, and I have relatives over, my grandpa them start to rip pieces out of it. You know, itchy hands from the old school. I just like one branch. Oh my god. Take the whole thing. But these are also fun projects to do with kids. They can definitely do it. When I was growing up, you know, really no Xbox, got a whistle and a stick. I never had one whistle. Just a stick. But back then, you know, really not much to do, and my mom then would always have regular crafting. Just because, you know, keeps us out of trouble, and trust me, we collide. So, you know, if you don't keep them busy, you know, not so good. So I encourage everyone to do crafting with family. It also allows for a lot of creative stuff to happen. So I really thank my mom for that, and having that as part of my life. This part's really easy and self-explanatory. We're just really filling it. How many of you guys actually plant? Or are you guys just looking for decoration? One! Oh my gosh! You can use plastic. Okay. Two, okay, thank you. I was like, for real? I'm doing all this ever. Yeah, I used to live at Old Elba Beach or New Elba Beach. Okay, I used to live by a kid and I by campus. And that's Old Elba Beach. We started the McDonald's with the air bridge. Sorry, I lost the whole crowd of McDonald's. It was really good and fun. But yeah, very arid. You can grow surprisingly a lot there because of the sun. So good. I never thought I'd say it like 20 now in my old age. When I was there, it was hell. Every house was a dry out box and just a hot fan trying to get you to sleep. Now, what's good is this, you can elevate some of them when you need to, just by building up the soil. Now I'm trying to get some dimension, because right now it looks very flat. You can manipulate it quite a bit. You just gotta smoke and mirrors in the skies for us. So she's facing this way. Like, come on. Because with the root ball intact, and given that this is a holiday display, you don't really have to worry too much about it drying out. Especially with succulents. If you're doing a regular plants, you really want to build it lower. But I do a lot of staging with this kind of thing. Like you'll be surprised when I did florist work. There's so much stuff we did that just take. Like people, oh, it's beautiful. Thank God, I hope it holds up. Like so many weddings, I was like, oh, congratulations. Walk slow. I think I'm broke. Smiling at them, don't worry, I'm good. Now, can't wait to do the flower part. Like, come on. And then again, you see that I overfill stuff. This is not what normal people, not that I call myself normal, but not that normal people would do. I do a lot of stuff for the staging and effect, and again, instant satisfaction is what I'm looking for. I'm sure everybody's on the same page. I'm like waiting for the good stuff. I want to get so much time. So, I'm trying to bring in some diversity of colors. So, when Geobunga was in its infancy, just in the very beginning, we did have a workshop series on container gardens, which was very fun as well. Over in Salt Lake, we did a lot of herbs and stuff. You can do a lot of these. I like a lot of non-traditional, so I've done these with herbs. Like if you do one in your kitchen for holiday, there's nothing wrong with doing an accent piece that has cascading basil or thyme or rosemary, because I like things, living pieces that you can work with. And there's no reason why you can't, pick off of your non-traditional quirky things are very nice, especially for good food. But I like them because they last and they're green. And again, it's a accent, so you can always, throw away and try again. I had it. Oh. Woo. Come on. Okay. Almost there. rushing. Okay, you know what? I gotta. Oh, it's a massacring casino. You never see that. Okay, see that almost works. My ratio not so good this morning. With that note, when you're crafting your plans, buy extra, just in case. Because, you know, in life stuff happens. No, I just won't focus. Come on, kid. Also, I'm like, normally I'd be flirting around this thing. I'm not sure if you remember the restaurant John Dominus. I was a chef there a long time ago before I started working for Keola. Back then had the Hano Hano show at the Gasparian Price with a floating bridge across from where we feed the aku. So it had one fish stuff inside. It was a huge. After the Sunday brunch, I only work Sunday brunch so I can have free food. Because they throw them away, but you could throw them in the water and they really ravenously go over it. But back then we do displays on the tables as well, which we do similar to stuff like this. Not with succulents, but we do it with herbs and spices and focal pieces like this. When I was a florist, I did the hotels, and back then it was grandiose. Remember walking into a hotel and there'd be a 12-foot arrangement, centerpiece in the middle of the thing? I miss those times. Now I get one orchid in a small pot sitting there and it says aloha. But it was good times. So these, I like having them, and back then it was over the top, abundant, and super full. I did ihilani and niblick. Let me get that triple. A lot of times you can do sets, and they look really nice together as well. Oh, that all good. Okay. Come on. No worries, she's halfway up. Oh man. But this is times where chopsticks would help. Okay, she's almost there. I have the pastel pieces. And this guy. So I'm trying to keep the components fairly simple because the flower part is going to be very rich. Because the red and the holly and the things, you know, very full. You almost there. Stay. No market. I just need a few pieces left over the top. Yeah. I never see that here. Alrighty. Now I'm trying to not dress with rock stuff in front of you guys because I did them like 12 times. Now I'm just filling it back. So, in the middle of the something right there. You know what? Okay, now it's full enough that you can see the frontage. Let's for to make sure she's settled in a little bit. There's my child. Can you fill this, please? Okay, so this part's always fun. So for the dramatic effect, I like these. I really like holly. It's nice to have in a house, and you know, to be fair, I'm bougie but cheap. So when I was a good Christmas tree, it's like, oh my lord, I like one, but nah, I'm okay with this. And these guys are really nice. Holly is I lived in Oregon for a while and we used to cut these. It's actually a parasite. They'll grow on other trees and kill them. So it's one of those odd plants. Now when, I gotta put water. Okay. Oh.
No, I gotta go.
Well, look at that.
You get water in your.
Oh, I just.
Yeah, Uncle Chris.
That's why she's the boss. Now, whenever you're dealing with fresh cut anything, when I was taught you're supposed to use a knife because you do longer cuts, and you can use this for any time you do flower arranging. What you want to do is you want to do angled cuts because it has more surface. The more surface, the more it'll drink. That'll keep it alive longer. I'm using this piece. So do an angled cut, so it's a long put it in water and she'll drink. Or maybe shorter than that. Eventually she'll stand up as I fill it. So, come on, stay with me. Now I have quite a bit to put in there, so I'm trying to be frugal about what I shove inside the pot. Not crazy. Yeah. Small. Thank you. Like, it looks like he's eating it. Yeah. Well, the color and the textural difference makes a huge difference in the overall effect. Because without it, it's pretty plain Jane. But once I add the other accents to it, it suddenly becomes like a richer, definitely Christmas decor. And again, this stuff is very, people don't even know what's accessible nowadays. And I do like real plants. You can do plastic, but I don't like plastic plants. I mean, I live on a farm. What do they say? You live on a farm, you can grow plants. I know. This guy, again, nothing wrong with spray paint. Please be in a ventilated area. Or not if you just, enjoy that kind of thing. Everybody different. So, this one is a Protea variety. You don't have to go too much with it, but that little color makes a really great accent. And it really stands out. Pretty. Again, and mind you, I don't AC for the front, yeah? So I'm working back. So, okay. And then you always want to add some greens. This is always, any kind is synonymous with Christmas. So any way you can incorporate it is good, even in a small textural way. And then hold on. When we was doing forest work, I used to throw everything everywhere, as if I have assistants. Sorry, Millie. So she's at the cusp of being tall. But you can see that it's incredibly rich of a piece. Completely full. Now, this is a forest sheet. Not familiar, leaf shine. There's an oil spray. And, sorry, it's just oil. And then, well, so I use them a lot on tropicals and thoriums and what have you. And it'll last. So even if it's not a thing to brag about, but if the plants look really bad, just leave them in arrangements. Just spray them with leaf shine and start with a lot. You don't know that, we never did that today. It's okay. It's just an oil spray. Normally I fill up the section so it'd be full, but because of the time constraints, they're getting towards it. Unlike what you kept it too long ago. So now what's really good is these are very hardy plants. I think we need one more silver. These are very, very hardy plants. The holly and the spray plant and the pine. So they'll last really a long time, but you can change out the arrangement from time to time. So if you were to make something like this, you can pull the arrangement part out on the same thing and change the accent completely. It's literally just a vase with flowers in it. So yeah, she's a little weighty. But then once you have that, and then again, if you wanted to put accents, I have tons of them, but she's actually pretty nice. You can always have any options. It's up to you how you decorate them, but the bulk of it is fine. If I was to just slap that on a horse. I don't know, she might be again, I Filipino, it might work for somebody. But anyway, so that's an easy way to do it. Another option for you for deco, I like using old tins, different stuff to find in the house, and things with history is always so much better received like if your grandma comes over and says, oh, that's my old pot and so, it just brings something back to life, which is a great idea. And in the, in the spirit of recycling and reusing and of incorporating some of the old stuff, I think it's something that's really great. That's the larger container garden, the smaller one. You see that there's some symmetry between them in the same space. It definitely says Christmas, but it's subtle and again, broke, bougie, but still looking pretty. So I encourage you guys to craft as much as you can, and then don't be afraid to fail. Like you see me change the stuff midstream like 3-4 times, and it's perfectly okay every time, and the process is always healing and great. So I think we're about the time now. So any questions? Yay! I'm hungry, KSI. Okay, go.
Soil.
Yes.
What's your preference?
Succulents. For succulents, there are specific ones to succulents that they sell at in the stores. We do a pre-mix specific to our plants. However, for what you're using, most people don't want to just buy the one that has the picture of the plant on it. If you do have, you just want to make sure there's drainage. If you have a little bit of soil, if you have a little cinder, mixing up perlite, things like that, just to make sure there's proper drainage. By hook or crook, you can always do it that way. But a lot of times, unfortunately, the bags that you purchase are large. So maybe you gotta go in with a friend, take a couple friends with you, go eat, and under the guise of, oh, we just go cruise, and say, okay, you pay for half this bag. Like, take whatever. But no, as long as it has drainage, it's fine for it. And it has the stuff for it. The easiest thing, if you go in the store, you see a picture of the plant, because they always have them. If there's vegetables on it, good for vegetables. They really cater to the public. So it's really, there's a lot of great stores out there, specialty ones like Keola farms, that you can go to with professionals and even the nurseries, if you have the chance to visit, go early, farmers finish early. And to ask questions and pose some of your questions with them, they're always eager to help. Okay, so, any other questions? Okay, thank you so much.
So we have, so first, round of applause.
Oh, thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate you guys. You're very kind.
Okay, so we focused on, or Keola did, on succulents in his arrangements. That's because those are easy to start with.
Yeah.
But you can see other arrangements here that we have. You can use so many different kinds of plants. So if you want to come, take a look at these other arrangements. And then we have, you guys have your $10 coupon. So if you guys want to use that today, we've got the soil, we have cinder, we've got all the pots, we've got a lot of plants, a lot of succulents, pots from little babies, small, so if you want to do something little, and then also larger. So feel free to ask any of us questions. And Kamele, right there, is holding a QR code. So if you want to come by, we'd appreciate it. It's a short little survey to get some feedback on how you felt about the workshop. So you can just QR code that with your phone, answer a couple questions. That would be great.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a happy holiday. Be safe out there. Grab some stuff. Appreciate you guys. I know, they're always scared of the Thank you so much. But you're right. I'm not